discussing the reverse bias, that is when the emitter junction is reverse bias and the collector junction is also reverse bias. This was the circuit, and as we have discussed earlier, that because this emitter junction is reverse bias, so there will be very small emitter current which will be mainly comprising of the minority carriers near and in the junction, which will drift because of the applied field. So there will be a very small emitter current. In the same way, because the collector junction is also reverse bias, so there will be a very small collector current. So this current will be because of the thermally generated charge carriers in and around the collector junction. Very important thing was said about these currents, that they are small, both currents, the input current which is emitter current, the output current which is collector current, but the important thing is both are independent. If we switch off this current, making the emitter current 0, this will almost have no effect on the output current. This reverse bias junction will continue to have that small current, and if we increase this reverse current by changing the temperature of the emitter junction, which is normally not done, but for the sake of argument, if this is increased, but this will not increase because this has nothing to do with that with the emitter current. So this is simply trying to say that the two currents are independent to each other, and such a circuit violates the main requirement of the amplifying circuit, in which the output current and voltage should be totally dependent. To a very large extent, they should depend on the input current and voltage. This thing can be shown, reverse bias can be shown through a potential energy diagram. This is N, P, N. This was the potential energy diagram in equilibrium when there was no field. Now we have reversed bias, and you will recall that in the reverse bias the potential hill, this increases. So this red one is the this is now the potential hill, and here there are electrons, here there are electrons, here there are holes, the majority carriers. The height of the barrier has gone up, they will not be able to cross over to the p side or to the n side, and similarly the electrons from this side, they will not be able to go around over the potential barrier, because it is now much higher. It was even in equilibrium, they were not able to move, that is why the equilibrium was achieved. Similarly, these holes from the p region of base, they will be unable to diffuse or diffuse either to the collector or to the emitter side. So this way, of course, this difference in the two, this is equal to the voltage which will be present between emitter and base junction, which we write as VEB, and this difference from here to here, this will be VCE CB, and so no currents will flow except very small currents in the two circuits, the emitter circuit and collector circuit, and the two currents will be the two currents will be independent of each other and hence are not suitable, the circuit is not suitable to function as a amplifier. Let us see, let us look at the third possibility of biasing, which is forward reverse biasing. Forward reverse biased transistor. Here emitter junction is forward bias, the collector junction is reverse bias, and we can depict this situation like this. This is the emitter base junction is forward biased. We have connected the negative side, the N side semiconductor to the negative terminal of the battery, and on the other side this is reverse bias junction, collector junction is reverse bias, and the N type semiconductor is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. Now, here this is the most important combination, the biasing combination, when emitter junction is forward biased, collector junction is reverse biased. Here what we expect and what actually happens, these are entirely two different things, and that is behind what we call the transistor revolution. What we expect in the emitter circuit, emitter junction is forward bias. We expect a large emitter current, this is the we expect, and collector junction being reverse bias. So, we expect that very small collector current. This is the expected one, but this actually does not happen. What happens is this. Now, this is very important, that in the when the emitter junction is forward biased, and remember that emitter, this is emitter, base, collector, emitter is heavily doped. So, the electron density is very high. This forward bias implies that electrons will be injected into the base, that means they will diffuse towards the base in a very large number, and holes being very, because this base region is very lightly doped. So, there is a small density of holes here, they will also diffuse to the emitter. So, the electrons, the high density of electrons, a very large number of electrons which have been injected into the base from the emitter, actually most of the electrons will be able to cross over to the collector. Now, remember that base was kept very thin, and we will quantify how thin this base has to be, but at the moment this is sufficient that base is very thin. So, that that most of the electrons, why I am saying most of the electrons? Because some of the electrons will recombine here. What will happen to those electrons, recombined electrons, we will talk little later, but here the important thing is that most of the electrons, say 99% or more, which have been injected from the emitter to the base, are able to cross over towards the collector. And here, because this is the positive terminal, so they will be able to be taken away at, and they will move towards the electrode, what we call collector. So, actually speaking, in this case the collector current is very close to the emitter current. This is very important step. We were expecting very high current in the emitter circuit, but very low current in the collector circuit. But what is happening is this, that collector current is almost equal to the emitter current. This is, I will repeat and I will put emphasis at this point, and I will try to explain that this is called transistor action, and this is also responsible for the name transistor. We can discuss with the help of the potential energy diagram also. So, let us first finish that part, that now this is the electron energy, this is N region emitter, P region and N region, this is electron energy is moving in this direction. And for simplicity, I just draw the half side of the energy band diagram, that now this is reduced because this is forward bias junction, while this barrier at the collector junction has gone up because it is reverse bias, and the potential barrier at the emitter junction has been reduced because of the forward bias, and this is correspondingly equal to the, because it is energy. So, Q, this is equal to Q into V E B, and this much change, this is Q B C B. This is reduced, so a large number of electrons will move towards the base, and base is p type. So, a small number less than a percent will recombine here, they will fall in the holes and they will recombine, and 98% or more electrons will be able to, first they will drift into the collector region, and finally they will be taken away, they will diffuse and will be taken away towards the collector, and a large collector current will flow. That is why it was said that collector current is very close to the emitter current. Now, this is what is called the transistor action. We have achieved something significant in this case by transferring the current from a low impedance circuit, emitter junction being forward biased has a low resistance, and this was said that this resistance is few tens of ohms, while collector junction is reversed bias and it is having this will have very high resistance of the order of a 100 kilo ohms or few megohms. So, we have transferred the almost the same amount of current from a low impedance circuit to a low resistance circuit to a high resistance circuit. From there, this is known as transistor action, and this is responsible for all the voltage gain, and we will see that how we get current gain also from here. Now, this is transistor. Transistor, if we break, then it is transistor. Transferring current from low resistance circuit to a high resistance circuit, that is the transistor action, and from here the name came transistor. Very important, and this has revolutionized the electronics, and as we know that there is it is very difficult to assume today the life without electronics. All the later developments of integrated circuit development and all that, they followed the discovery of transistor. We will further discuss the various currents, and I will elaborate few points in this. So, currents in a transistor. Now, we will be discussing this very case where emitter junction is forward biased, collector junction is reverse biased. That is under discussion. That part is over when both junctions were forward biased. There were very heavy currents in the input circuit, that was emitter circuit, and very high current in the collector circuit, but the two currents were independent of each other, almost independent, and not suitable for a amplifying device. Similarly, when both junctions were reverse bias, then the currents were very feeble, and they were also independent of each other. If we switch off the emitter current completely, this will have a negligible influence on the collector reverse current, and so the two were independent and hence again not suitable for a amplifying device. But here in this case, where emitter junction is forward bias, collector junction is reverse bias, here we are seeing something very important, fantastic, very useful. That is, the collector current is almost equal to the emitter current, and the collector current almost depends, it will vary as we vary the input emitter current. So, in all amplifying circuits, this is the biasing which is used, that emitter junction is always in an amplifier, the emitter junction is always forward biased and the collector junction is always reverse biased. Now, we will see the components of current, and they will further illustrate that why we said that the dopings of emitter are heaviest and base is most light doped and collector is moderately doped. About that we should come up in this section. First we talk about the emitter current. There are three currents: emitter current, base current, and collector current. This is written as I E, this is written as I B, and this is written as I C. So, first let us talk about the ammeter current. Ammeter current will have two components, and from where they will come I will illustrate through this diagram. This is ammeter junction, this is ammeter junction forward bias. So, very large flux of electrons will be injected into the base, large flux of electrons, and this is, after all, it is the junction. So, here this is a small flux, or a small number of holes, and the direction of hole flow is the direction of current. So, this will be the direction of ammeter current, and the two components are one arising because of the electrons, high density of electrons injected into base, and a very low density of holes which are injected from the base towards the ammeter, and hence the ammeter current, the two components are I E because of electrons, this is because of electrons, plus I H, this is due to holes. In our discussion of this transfer of current from the ammeter to the collector, we saw that here this is the electrons which are being collected at the collector, because here is the appropriate polarity, the positive potential which will collect the electrons. There is no contribution in this current of useful current which is being collected at IC, the whole contribution. So, this is not useful, this is most useful. But this cannot be made 0, because base, if this base is not there, the junctions will not be formed, and the transistor action which we have been talking will not occur. So, it is the necessity that some whole component of current will be there, but this is reduced heavily by making the whole region, it is reduced by lightly doping the base, because this is not useful in the NPN transistor, and here the holes which are most useful, and we make this contribution large by making emitter heavily doped. So, the factors which we discussed in the beginning, they are now coming. So, this is about the emitter current. Now, we talk about the base current. Base current. Base current also has two components, and these are this is N type emitter, this is base P type, and this is collector again N type. Now, here some holes have diffused. This is of course the same polarities, this is N type and this is having negative potential, this is having positive potential, this is reverse bias junction, this is forward bias junction, and so this is the small hole diffusion. I said collector current is almost equal to the electron current, the emitter current. Collector current is almost equal to the emitter. Why almost? When these electrons from the base region are moving through the base, a very small percentage of holes recombine, and so there is a component of hole recombination. This is hole recombination. Hole recombination. So, from the P type base, holes have been lost two ways. One is the small percentage of holes have diffused towards the N region, the emitter region, and other is the loss because of the recombination. You will recall that in recombination the electron and hole both disappear. For example, I remind that this is the free electron, this electron which was coming from here, and in the base region these are the holes. So, when it moves, some of them are trapped. So, these holes are again filled state, and in recombination the electron hole pairs, they disappear in the sense that electron is trapped here, it has made hole immobile because the hole's existence was because of the absence of the electron from here, and the electron which was mobile, it was in the conduction band, that has been trapped here. So, hole has vanished and electron has been trapped, made immobile. So, there are two ways that the holes are lost, and this is compensated by pumping. Either you can say that holes are injected, and this injection of holes is by removal of electrons. So, electrons, few electrons will flow, and that will constitute current I B, what we call I B. Let me say it in another way, that some holes are moving in this direction and diffusing, and electrons are recombining. So, those recombined electrons they are in axis here, the system overall has been neutral. So, those excess electrons required to maintain the neutrality of charge neutrality of this region, they will be taken out, and that will constitute current in this direction. So, the two components of base current I B, the base current, that one component is the recombination current, and partly the hole diffusion. Recombination part is much higher as compared to this, and that is the reason that the base current is called recombination current. Base current is largely a recombination current. So, now it becomes clear that let us assume, just for the time being, a fictitious figure that 100 electrons start moving from the emitter, 1% they recombine. So, that will form the base current, finally they will come out from here, and 99% are collected by the collector. Now, the collector current. Collector current, again it has two components. The collector current, the first component, let us look at this figure. That from the emitter a very large flux of electron was induced into the collector region, and very small fraction got recombined. So, two things become clear from here. One is that actually, because the electrons which were emitted from which were injected from the emitter, they have been shared by the two. A much larger portion goes to collector. So, I E is equal to actually I C plus I B, because base current also basically is because of the electrons which have been injected from the emitter. So, this is the relation which we will always remember, and I will show you that this comes by collecting by summing up the currents, that this is I E, this is I C, and this is I B. The currents which are entering in the device, they are taking as positive, and this is I C and I V, both are entering to the device, and the current which is coming out of the device is I E. So, I E is equal to I C plus I B. Now, this is anyway we were talking about current component. So, the first component of current in I C is fraction, and that let us call that alpha, and we will define what is alpha, is I E. Now, this is the contribution because of the electrons which have been injected from the emitter, but we should not forget that this collector junction is a reverse bias junction. So, even if this current emitter current is made 0, but this current will be there, reverse saturation current, and that we write as ICBO. This current actually O indicates we measure this component of current when emitter is open, that means no current. When IE is 0, then whatever is the reverse current, that is this ICBO. This will also be in the same direction, which I can explain here, that this is the reverse bias junction. Thermally generated holes will move in this direction, and thermally generated holes electrons in the p region, they will move in this direction. So, the electrons will move in this direction, holes will move in this direction, that will constitute the reverse saturation current, and whole direction is the conventional direction of current. So, this is in the same direction. So, these are the two components of current. This is very small component, at least 2 orders of magnitude is smaller than this first part. So, basically the collector current is alpha times IE, and alpha, as we will see that this is one of the gains, current gain actually, and we will be soon talking about this in more detail. Current gain, this is close to 1, but less than 1, because you know that IC is actually speaking a little less than IE, and how much less? The portion which has recombined in that base region. So, this is the current gain by definition, we will talk about little later. And this the part of the collector current, and we have talked about the small number of electrons coming out from here, and these holes will be flowing, and they will be taking out from here large number of electrons, and they will constitute this part of the current. So, this was about the 3 currents. The emitter current, which should be large, and to make it large, because there are 2 components, the electronic component and hole component. The electronic component is useful component, hole component does not play any role in transistor action, and so that is that part, whole part is reduced by taking the doping of the base region lightly, and emitter current is made to the largest possible extent of made of electrons in NPN transistor, and that is made by heavily doping the emitter. Collector current is basically the current which is flowing because of the input current, which is this part alpha times IE, while this current is thermally generated current, this is temperature dependent, but fortunately this is also, it is not important, because this current will not vary with the input current. Any fraction of the current which is invariant as far as the input current is concerned, that is not playing any useful role. In amplification, this part will, because this part of the collector current is totally dependent on the emitter current. So, this plays the major role, main role, and this is insignificant. Actually, this is what causes the thermal noise to the transistor. It is a parasite, but we can't get rid of it completely. This was about the 3 currents. I was drawing block diagrams taking these NPN transistor. I can draw a circuit for it, and this will be like this. Actually, base is many times grounded when it is in this configuration. This is I E, this is I C, and this is I B. This is for NPN transistor, and summation, the Kirchhoff's summation, Kirchhoff's current summation. Gives I E equal to I C plus I B. We can draw, and we should draw to know about the PNP transistor. I am taking NPN transistor as an example because it is more popular, but I said that PNP transistor will work perfectly all right. Only difference is that when we go on increasing the frequency, then NPN transistor will function better, and that also that will that will give its maintain its performance up to higher frequency. And you can see here that in NPN transistor, this is all the role of electrons, and electrons are having higher mobility, and therefore, they can respond up to higher frequency. Now, a similar circuit can be drawn with PNP transistor. There will be the arrow direction we will have to reverse. The direction of currents will be opposite to this, and the battery polarities, because now it is PNP transistor, P and P. So, this polarity of the batteries will also be changed. They are just opposite to what were in this case, and the current direction, this is I E, this is hole current. Holes, if we talk of PNP transistor, this will be very rich in holes, very small density of electrons and very high density of holes. So, the holes from here will be injected, a percent or so will recombine with the electrons, and the remaining one will be here, and then they will diffuse, and they will be taken care by as soon as they reach near the electrode, then this favorable potential will take them, will collect them. This is how it will work, and the current directions will be I C, and this will be I B. So, here also I E is equal to I C plus I B. Now, we talk about the 3 configurations in which a transistor can be used. 3 circuit configurations. A transistor, one same transistor, it can be used in 3 ways, in 3 different circuit profiles. One is the common base, circuit, popularly known as CB configuration. CB, C stands for common, B for base. So, common base configuration or circuit. The second one is common emitter. Common emitter circuit. This is called CE circuit, CE circuit. C for common, E for emitter, common emitter circuit, CE circuit. And the third one is common collector circuit, that is CC circuit, common collector circuit. So, transistor is same, only how we connect in the circuit, that will tell whether it is common base circuit, common emitter circuit or common collector circuit. The three configurations are these. So far what we were discussing, actually this was CB configuration. This is ground and this is the input is given here and output is taken from collector, between collector and ground. This is output, this is CB circuit, and this voltage between emitter and base, this is called VEB, E emitter, between emitter and base. Here this is positive, this is negative. This is for NPN. PNP thing we have just compared, that all the directions of currents will be reversed to in the PNP case, the batteries have to be put in the reverse direction. So, that is it. Now, again we have come back to NPN transistor. So, this is the base is common to input and output, and hence this is called common base circuit. This is the other circuit is this is the input, and here this will be the input current will be base current, and output is taken from collector and ground, between collector and ground. So, this is IC and this is IE. This is common emitter circuit and common collector circuit. Output, and here this is input. This is common collector circuit. Now, the same transistor can be used in three different configurations. As I said, if the input we are giving between the emitter and base, and output we are taking from collector and base, then it is common base circuit. The other circuit where instead of emitter, the input is connected between base and emitter, and output is collected from the collector with respect to ground. This emitter terminal here is grounded. So, this will be the common emitter circuit, common base circuit, in which input is given at emitter, collected from collector. This is common emitter circuit, input is the connected to the base, and input is the base current and output is the collector. The third circuit, the common collector circuit, in which the input of course is the base current, but output is taken from the emitter. Wherever you see that output is being taken from the emitter, we are talking of common collector circuit. Whenever the input is at base and the output is at the collector, this is common emitter circuit. And if the emitter the input is at the emitter and the output is collected from the collector, this is CB circuit. All these three configurations are important and widely used for amplifying purposes. Few things we should remember, that whether we are talking of common base circuit or common emitter circuit, or for that reason common collector circuit, emitter junction, when it is a amplifier, the emitter junction has to be forward bias, always remember, and the collector junction has to be reverse bias. We will come how the biasings are achieved in practice, what are the different ways of achieving these biasings, we will be talking that also. But we should always remember and that whatever is the configuration, whenever we are connecting the transistor for amplification purposes, it has to be the emitter junction has to be the forward bias and the collector junction has to be reverse bias. To put more emphasis, I write this point that for an amplifier circuit, in any of the configuration, common base, common emitter or common collector, whatever is the circuit, emitter junction is always forward biased. And collector base junction, which is collector junction, is always reverse biased. This is very important. Now, we talk about the current gains. Current gain alpha and current gain beta. Alpha and beta, these are the two current gains which we encounter when we talk of transistor. Now, this we will talk about these current gains, current gain alpha and beta. Actually, alpha is for CB circuit, where it will define the ratio of out by gain. The fundamental definition is output to the input. If we talk of current gain, then output current to the input current. In this case, it is I C over I E, which happens in the CB circuit, where input is the emitter current, output is collector current. This happens I C over I B, this happens in C E circuit, and we will talk about these current gains. So, now I am sure you have followed what is the basic physics of transistor, why we took in the beginning specified dopings, that emitter is most heavily doped and base is lightly doped and collector moderately doped, and about the sizes, because the collector has to collect the electrons. So, the size has to be larger and the other two are slightly smaller from one each other. And then we discussed the biasings, because there are two junctions. So, there is forward bias, no use for amplifier, heavy currents in both circuits, emitter circuit and collector circuit, but the two currents are largely independent, hence not useful for amplifier. And in the other case that both are reverse bias, there also it is not useful, the two currents are small, independent of each other. The third case is most important, emitter junction forward bias, collector junction reverse bias, and we will see that this will give a high voltage gain, current gain and so on, and that we will continue.